King Tut's tomb was discovered 100 years ago. 9 extravagant finds from the ancient Egyptian burial are presented here. On November 4, 1922, archaeologists discovered Tutankhamun's tomb in the Valley of the Kings. The tomb was full of valuables. His death mask, for instance, is one of those artifacts that are well known. Others, on the other hand, are less well known but provide insight into King Tut's life, such as a mannequin that may have assisted the boy king in selecting clothing. 9 fascinating treasures from Tutankhamun's tomb tell us a lot about the famous Egyptian pharaoh 100 years after his remains were found. 1. Tutankhamun's throne. Eaton Krauss stated that 2 thrones were discovered in Tutankhamun's tomb. One was made of ebony, and Carter referred to it as the ecclesiastical throne because it resembled a bishop's chair. However, there is no evidence that it served any particular religious function. Tildesley noted in her book that the other throne, also known as the Golden Throne, depicts Tutankhamun and his wife, Ankhesenamun. Carter wrote in his notes that Ankhesenamun appears to be applying perfume or ointment to Tutankhamun. Linen was used to covering this throne, which stood about 3 feet, 1 meter tall. Tildesley described it as a wooden chair with arms, openwork side panels, a solid, slightly sloping back panel, and 4 legs carved to resemble lion legs. Gold and silver foil covered the chair, which was inlaid with colorful stones, glass, and faience, glazed ceramic. Tildesley wrote, as the majority of ancient Egyptians sat on low stools or squatted on the floor, chairs were a luxury item, indicative not only of wealth but also of power. 2. Tutankhamun's coffin. The 3 coffins in which Tutankhamun was buried were nested within one another. According to Joyce Tildesley, an Egyptology professor at the University of Manchester in the United Kingdom, in her book Tutankhamun, Basic Books published in The Search for an Egyptian King in 2012. Tildesley said that Carter had a hard time opening the coffins because of how big they were and how small Tutankhamun's tomb was. Tutankhamun is depicted on each of the 3 coffins with a long beard and a crook and flail. The outer coffin, according to the Egyptian Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities, is made of gilded wood and has blue and red glass on its crook and flail. According to Tildesley, the second coffin, which was discovered with several plants, including dying lotus flowers, was also made of gilded wood. The ministry notes that the third and innermost coffin was found wrapped in linen and made of solid gold. With his death mask and other belongings on him, Tutankhamun was laid to rest in this innermost coffin. 3. Tutankhamun's death mask. The most well-known item discovered in Tutankhamun's tomb is probably his death mask. Ghalal Ali Hassan, an emeritus professor in the Cairo University Department of Mechanical Design, wrote in a 2016 paper that was published in the International Journal of Advancement in Engineering and Technology, the ornate mask that was placed on Tut's face was manufactured mainly from gold inlaid with semi-precious stones and colored glass paste and weighs a whopping 22 pounds, 10 kilograms. Hassan wrote, "The eyes are made of quartz and obsidian." He also mentioned that the mask shows Tutankhamun with a long beard and a headdress with a cobra and a vulture. Marianne Eaton Krauss, a senior fellow at the American Research Center in Egypt, wrote in her book The Unknown Tutankhamun, Bloomsbury, 2016, that guaranteed the mask's ability to function as the face of the deceased was written on the back of the death mask. This spell is from the Book of the Dead and is written in hieroglyphs. She pointed out that the same spell was written on Tutankhamun's third innermost coffin. 4. Chariots. 6 chariots were discovered in Tutankhamun's tomb, according to research that was published in the journal Comité International pour l'Égyptologie in 2020. The team noted in their paper that Carter referred to 2 of the most elaborate chariots as state chariots. One of the state chariots was thoroughly examined and restored by the researchers, who discovered that it had a canopy above it that could have provided shade for those riding in it. On the right side of the chariot, there are also images of 6 foreign captives and hieroglyphs with the names Tutankhamun and Tutankhamun. In addition, a hieroglyphic inscription states that the falcon represents Horus, an Egyptian sun god, and depicts a solar falcon with outstretched wings. The team wrote in their paper, "This entire design may be interpreted as the appearance of the royal couple adored by the people of Egypt, ensuring the king and queen's life and stability under the sun god who is hovering above and protecting them." 5. Tutankhamun Iron Daggers. Iron daggers, one with an iron blade and one with a gold blade, were buried with Tutankhamun. The book Iron from Tutankhamun's Tomb, American University in Cairo Press, 2022, states that the pharaoh's mummy bandages had been found wrapped around both of the daggers in different layers. According to the book, researchers noted that Tutankhamun's right thigh was the location of the iron blade and dagger. The meteorite-forged iron used in the dagger was out of this world. The dagger also has a rock crystal pommel and a gold handle with intricate patterns carved into it. The gold dagger with intricate carvings on the handle was discovered above Tutankhamun's abdomen, according to the researchers. Katja Broschat, a conservator at the Römisch-Germanisches Zentralmuseum and co-author of Iron from Tutankhamun's Tomb, said that both daggers show signs of wear. According to Broschat, neither dagger has ever been used in hunting or other activity. 6. Golden Sandals. The mummy of Tutankhamun was discovered in gold sandals. The ancient Egyptian footwear project director André Veldmayer said that the total length was approximately 29.5 centimeters, 11.6 inches. According to Veldmayer, it is likely that Tutankhamun would not have worn these sandals when he was alive. These sandals probably were made specifically for his funeral. Veldmayer stated that these gold sandals would have been cut from a plate of gold sheet and embossed, probably on a soft surface protected by a layer of leather, noting that this procedure is not that different from how thin metal is hammered into shape and decorated in modern times. 7. Board games. According to the book Ancient Egyptians at Play, Tutankhamun's tomb contained at least 4 board games. Across Borders, Board Games, Bloomsbury, 2016. Ivory was used to make some of the game pieces and boards that were found in the tomb. The boards appear to have been made for the game of 20 and cent games. The rules of neither game are completely clear. According to the Grand Egyptian Museum, the objective of the Senate was to safely navigate all the pieces off the board while preventing the opponent from doing the same, which was played on a 30-square board. The rules of the game of 20 are also hazy. Anne Dunn Venturi, a research associate at the Metropolitan Museum of Art, wrote in an article that was published on the website of the Metropolitan Museum of Art in 2014 that among scholars who have studied the game, it is generally assumed that the 2 players started on each of the opposite sides of the board and that they then moved their pieces down the central aisle toward the final field and off the board to win the game. 8. Garment Mannequin. A mannequin used to choose, adjust, and store the king's wardrobe and jewelry is one of the lesser-known treasures from Tutankhamun's tomb. Laura Ranieri Roy, founder and director of the educational organization Ancient Egypt Alive, said that was, of course, a very snappy dresser with a huge wardrobe, both for his life and afterlife. Ranieri Roy mentioned that British archaeologist Howard Carter discovered hundreds of garments, 12 sumptuous robes, dozens of sandals, underwear, socks, even Tut's baby clothes in Tut's tomb. It makes sense that such a clothes horse needs a mannequin to hang and display ornate robes and jewelry, and perhaps even for his wardrobe attendants to make and adjust the king's outfits. 9. Trumpets. Trumpets. According to the publication The Science of Brass Instruments, 2 trumpets, one made of silver and the other of gilded bronze, were discovered in Tutankhamun's tomb. These trumpets are among the world's oldest surviving Ambrosian instruments, which are played with vibrations emanating from the lips. In a broadcast that aired on the BBC in 1939 and can be heard on YouTube, musician James Tappern played the trumpets. The researchers drew attention to the fact that Tapper had to use a modern wooden mouthpiece to play the trumpets, making it unclear whether Tutankhamun could have played the pitches he did. Due to their fragility, these instruments cannot be played today. Well, that's it for today. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button. If you have any suggestions, leave them in the comments section. And if you enjoy our content, and never want to miss a video, hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching.